What's up, YouTube? So I tried to film a video yesterday, but my phone died in the middle, and through complications I can't get that footage anymore. But I'll just update y'all. I was working on the go-kart. Basically what I did was, the gas pedal was right here. See if I can get y'all in there. It was right there. I moved it over here to the far right side. Had to drill a hole right there. I think that's gonna work out fine. I still have to cut these legs off and that tab down there, as well as this little bracket right here for the throttle cable, and weld that on over here somewhere. Then weld those to the very center of the go-kart. But that's not really what today's video is going to be about, as you can tell from the title. I want to talk to y'all about some of my background and maybe give y'all a little bit of the story on why I'm a mechanic, why I love tools so much, and why that part of my life means so much to me. So yeah, I'm gonna sit y'all down somewhere, find somewhere to sit y'all, and we'll just have a nice little talk. What's up, guys? So I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about me and why I got started in this field, and why kind of cars and automotives just mean so much to me, and it has from like a young age. Well, it all starts back, my dad, ever since I was about 6 or 7, he started racing drag dirt trucks. I don't know if that's something we just do down here in the South or what, but basically it's a 4-wheel drive truck made to run like a drag car in a dirt pit or a mud pit. So he's always been tinkering with those type of trucks and everything in the yard for as long as I can remember. He just recently, a few years back, quit doing it. But so I guess that kind of introduced me to mechanicking at a young age. And since then, I grew a little bit of an interest in it. Fast forward a few years, I was about 14 or 15, and I bought my first truck. Now, like most people, my first truck was a hunk of garbage, and I got screwed terribly on it. I probably shouldn't have bought it. But it is what kind of led me into thinking I want to do this for a career. So I bought a 1988 4Runner. It had a 3.0 V6 in it. And like I said, I'd been tinkering and kind of helping my dad a little bit, but I still didn't know that much about cars. And so I went and I looked at it. I took my brother with me. He didn't know anything about cars either. It was smoking a little bit. It wound up having worn out rings, and it was leaking oil into the combustion chamber. But the guy lied to me. He told me that it needed spark plug seals, and looking back on it, I probably should have waited for a time that I could have brought my dad, because he knows a lot more about that than I did at the time. But I didn't. I was impatient. I had just saved up enough money to get the truck, and I was ready to go, and I was ready to go get it. So I went there. He told me that little lie. I believed him, thought, oh, this will be an easy fix. My dad can help me fix it. So I bought it. I drive it home. By the time we get it home, it's pouring smoke out. I park it outside. I go in. It had gotten late at this point, and I went to bed. I wake up the next morning. My dad asked me, he said, I see you bought the truck. Is there anything wrong with it? And I told him it needed spark plug seals. And he looked at me like I was crazy, and looking back, I would have done the same thing if I was him. So we went outside. He looked at what it was doing. We determined that it was probably going to need an engine. An engine would probably be the quickest fix for it, the easiest fix. And so we got to hunting down. We found an engine. We actually wound up finding a whole Toyota truck that had been rolled but was still running and driving. So we got the whole truck. We brought it home, pulled my motor out, pulled the motor out of that truck, and then both of them sat for about 2 months. Now, I wish it hadn't sat that long, because that's probably what caused the other motor to go bad later on down the road. But eventually, over time, I was able to get the motor in, get it running, went and got exhaust put on it. Did a little bit of a rattle can paint job on it. It turned out decent. I wasn't too pleased with it, but it was decent enough for a first truck. So I was driving the truck for about 3 or 4 months, having a great time. It was a blast to drive. It's a little stick shift Toyota. Anyways, I drive the truck for about 3 or 4 months, and it wound up blowing a head gasket on the new motor that we'd put in. Not new, but the other motor that we had put in it. And I got frustrated with it. I didn't feel like putting that much more time and money into it, so I wound up like trading it for a dirt bike, or maybe a four-wheeler. I did a bunch of trading at that point in my life, but traded it for a dirt bike or a four-wheeler and moved on. Then my dad decided to go buy me the Ford Ranger that I'm driving now. He thought maybe I needed something more reliable, and looking back on it, I'm very grateful that he did, because that's been an awesome truck. I've been driving it for, I think, 5 years now. Got it when it was bone stock. I did everything else to it myself. But the whole point of that story is, when I put the motor into that Toyota, I had such a great time doing it, and I was so interested in everything else. Thought it was about to start raining on me, but it's just the wind. I had such a great time doing it that I decided to sign up for the shop class in high school. Now there I learned a lot more of the technical side of it, more of the maintenance type stuff, how to use the scan tool and all that. And that was my first experience with Snap-on tools. Also, they had a ton of Snap-on tools, and I fell in love with Snap-on the day I went to that class. So I was in that class, did it for 2 years, because that's as long as you could do it. And I decided at the end of those 2 years that that was what I wanted to do. That was where my passion was. I enjoyed it. Every time when I went to class, I was one of the only kids in there working. Everybody else was looking for an easy A, I think. But I had such a blast doing all that in that class and working on the Toyota. I just decided, you know, I love doing this. It might not be the best paying job out there, but I would rather do something that I love than be miserable doing something that I don't. Even if I make more money doing something that I don't love, I would rather be happy in the end. So that's kind of the story on why I decided to be a mechanic. I was working senior year. I got out early at like 11:30, 12 o'clock. Got a part-time job at a grocery store. Did that for 2 months and got so fed up with it because I was so unhappy there that I called one day and I told them I'm not coming in. I quit, and I shouldn't have done that. I should have gave a 2 weeks notice, but at that point in your life, you know, you're not really thinking about all that. And the same day I quit my job, there was a new shop in town getting ready to open the following week. And I'd already gone to every shop in town. Every single one of them turned me down, said I'm too young, don't have any experience, they don't need a part-time guy. All those same excuses that everybody would give me. But I go here, I talk to the guy. He's one of my favorite bosses I've ever had. I've only had 4 of them though. But out of those 4, he's my favorite boss I ever had. I'll walk in, he's kind of getting ready to get the shop ready for opening. He's kind of, you know, putting parts cleaner up on the rack, all that stuff. I walk in, I introduce myself, I tell him, you know, I'm interested in a part-time job, looking to go full-time after part-time. So I gave him my number. I think I made a good impression on him. And 2 or 3 weeks later, it was after the shop had already opened, he called me, he offered me a part-time job, making the same I did at the grocery store. And so I jumped on it. And literally, I tell you guys, every night of the week I was working there, I would stay up there till at least 8 or 9 o'clock because I loved it so much. I loved him. He was an awesome guy. I loved my job. I loved working on cars, and it was just the perfect fit for me. I stayed there for about 2 years, I think, and I landed my job I'm at now. Now, the only reason I left that wonderful shop I was at is because I was thinking more into the future. Fucking planes. Anyways, the only reason I left that wonderful job I had with Jake is because I started thinking more long-term into the future, and I heard about a job opening for the city that I live in. They were looking for a mechanic, obviously. And so I go up there, I talk to the guy, I gave him my resume, and 2 or 3 weeks later, he called me. He said he wanted to start the interview process. I went to one interview, and then 30 minutes later, he called me and told me I had the job. And so from this very long drawn out story of practically my whole life in the automotive field to this point, from this I want you guys to understand something. If you have something that you're passionate about and that you're capable of making a career out of, why would you not chase that? Like I said, from the day I had to put a motor in that Toyota truck, in my head I was already developing this passion and this love for cars that I have now. And I worked, like I said, 2 months in the grocery store, absolutely hated it. I decided that, you know, I don't want to do this. I would rather spend my time doing something that I love and something that I'm passionate about and something that I want to make a career out of. So from all this, guys, I want you to get that. If you're passionate about something and you're capable of making a living doing it, why would you not chase that dream? Now, I understand being a mechanic is a lot different than wanting to be like a surgeon or something, but still the same mindset can go into play there as it did here. If you want to do something and you're capable of doing it, why would you not do everything in your effort to make that happen? Anyways, guys, I didn't mean for this to get so kind of deep, inspirational, emotional type feeling. I just kind of want to give you guys a background on me. I'm really enjoying this whole YouTube thing. I'm loving the community that we've already built. Even though we're small, we're still a great community. I got the same guys that comment on every video, watch every video, like the videos. I could not be happier with the YouTube channel thus far. Anyways, guys, I could rant for another 2 or 3 hours if you wanted, but I'm going to cut this video now. If you like these style videos where I'm more talking to you guys and kind of being more personal, sharing kind of my life with you, rather than just doing tool videos or just working on cars and filming it. If you kind of like this style, let me know in the comments down below. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed kind of opening up to y'all. We're so close to the 150 sub giveaway. I think we're at 145 or something like that. Once we get to 150, one of my subscribers will have a chance to win either a Blue Point socket set or a Matco screwdriver set, whichever one they pick. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, like the video. Got some interesting plans coming up for the channel, hopefully going into action within the next few weeks. So be on the lookout for some new special videos coming out. That's all I got for you guys. We'll see you next time.